Hello and welcome to this special program. My name is Vineet Malhotra, and today we have somebody truly special with us in our midst. Mr. Amar Nargaram is the founder and CEO of Virgio, a Bangalore-based fashion technology company redefining fast, sustainable fashion with an engineering background and strong consumer internet experience. Amar has created Virgio to solve industry challenges like overproduction and limited inclusivity, which is a problem that we all face. And under his leadership, Virgio uses technology to track trends, optimize production, and reduce waste, proving fashion can be both fast and responsible. Amar is also an active voice in shaping the future of sustainable tech-driven fashion in our country. Amar, thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us. Well, first question I want to ask you is, of course, the very basic question of the beginning. What inspired you to build Virgio, and how is it changing the fashion tech industry landscape today?
Well, first of all, thank you, Vineet, for having me here. I think in my previous career, what I've seen is the industry has become very good at selling desires, but very bad at respecting consumer demand. What I mean by that is, when consumers were looking for trendy, quality, affordable fashion, the industry split them between fast fashion and slow fashion. A fashion which is trendy but not of a high quality, very cheap, and a fashion which is very slow, boring, but very, very expensive. When you talk about fast fashion as it exists today, the problem has always been about the corners that the fast fashion industry has been cutting to give you at such a cheap price.
Right.
And the consumers were not left with any other choice. So when I saw this happening right in front of me, I really saw this as a challenge that I could solve using technology, and that's how Virgio happened. In fact, what Virgio is, it's actually a fashion supply chain company. It's not just a brand. What we do is to actually spot the trend, spot the consumer demand at the right time, make the right inventory for the right audience in the right quantity, so that there is no wastage left behind. And when we are doing this, we are not cutting any corners. The kind of fabrics we use, the kind of factories we work with, and most importantly, the price at which we offer this to the consumers with all transparency built into it. I think that's what's the most exciting part of our journey, and that's why we are truly, truly excited to be part of this mission right now.
That's wonderful, and it sounds very niche, Amar, but how do you personally stay ahead in such a fast-moving fashion and technology landscape? Fashion is always evolving, it's always changing. It must be hard to keep up.
Like I said earlier, Virgio was actually born from consumer demand. Unlike most of the fashion brands, most of the fashion companies, where they make what they want to sell and they actually invest into convincing consumers that they should be buying this, Virgio was born out of consumers' demands, consumer insights. So for us, the non-negotiable on the floor has always been about obsessive consumer listening. And that helped us stay ahead of trends, stay ahead of the industry, because when you listen to the consumer consistently, and when you have the systems in place which can react to these demands in real time, you get to be relevant, you are actually on trend, and most importantly, this is how you innovate faster than others.
That's wonderful. And what role does your personal brand play in shaping trust and visibility for Virgio, something that you have worked very hard upon?
In today's social world, founders' credibility is brand's collateral. We make sure internally also that we walk the talk. Personally, for me, it has always been about three things: clarity about what we do, courage to do the uncomfortable, compassion for the people who are in this journey with us. And my job is to do this consistently, day in, day out, so that our mission towards building a cleaner fashion ecosystem is not diluted in any way. When we carry those values literally on our shoulders, there is no way that the brand can actually divert from what it meant to be. And when we walk the talk, and when we actually tell our stories in a very authentic way to our consumers, people can see it through. Today, a lot of brands and a lot of labels think people buy from content. In fact, they buy from the intent behind the content. The people who are saying the story, the founder who is telling the story, are they really serious about it? How are they actually making everything that they're saying is transparent and authentic? Today, if you look at Virgio, every single garment of ours comes with a digital passport, which technically lets you know everything about the garment mix, to a point where even the price point, if you look at our price point, we even talk about the cost it took us to make that garment in the first place, the profits that we make on it, the operating cost, everything. So, we are putting everything out there for the consumer to take the call. So, transparency is one of the pillars on which we are building this. And personally as well, I would like to talk about everything openly. Even as a founder, when I step onto the floor, I am not trying to be a polished founder. I am actually trying to be myself, being honest about my doubts, my uncertainties that I see on a day-to-day basis, discuss the failures, discuss the doubts. So, the team is actually looking at me as one of them rather than somebody who is just preaching and leaving. When I follow this on the floor, when the team sees that as a founder that I am doing the job that I am supposed to do to build a responsible company, things will fall in place.
That's wonderfully articulated, Amar. Next question is, of course, how do you ensure Virgio stays innovative while the fashion industry evolves so quickly? Innovation is a part, or rather I should say, is also your headache.
Well, innovation, the way we see in Virgio, it's not just one team's responsibility, it's basically the culture at Virgio. And when I say culture, culture is usually made up of two things, right? One is your people, and the second is the systems or the technologies that you're building. With people, what we encourage is fearless curiosity. You are allowed to ask questions, you're allowed to ask, in fact, you should be questioning the status quo. If anything is not clear, if anything is actually not making sense, if anything is against the values we stand for, you have every right to ask. When you encourage that kind of culture, the people come together for the right reasons. The next thing is the systems. We build systems that adapt faster than they can break. When you have technology and when you have the people who are converging onto the right purpose, onto the right deliverables for us as an organization, we stay innovative.
Amar, as a founder, what key values do you want people to associate with both you and Virgio?
For me as a founder, one of the fundamental things that I want people to remember me for is the bold calls or the courageous decisions that we take in this journey, because this journey is anything but conventional. This is not a rational way of looking at building a fashion business. We are building something which has not been done before. In fact, this is how I would actually put it. We are not building a fashion company, we are building a technology company that is making fashion. And that's how we believe we can make a shift. So, I would like to be remembered, or I would like to be measured in terms of the crazy calls or the courageous calls. Virgio on the other side, we want Virgio to be remembered or measured in terms of the impact it is going to leave behind. We are determined to make fashion in a responsible way, in a responsive way, and more importantly, in a way that doesn't cost anything for the planet. The consumers don't have to choose between the guilt and the fashion. More importantly, what we leave behind for the next generation should be better than what we have today.
Amar, one last question. That was well said. One last question before we let you go. 2026 is upon us. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I seriously believe 2026 is going to be the year where the narration or the narrative around clean fashion is going to start. We have seen that happen in skincare, we have seen that happen in beauty. Now, I think that the conversation around clean fashion is definitely going to start in 2026. If you look at the colors, the WGSN color of the year, the Pantone color of the year, they're all actually going towards
Correct.
the natural elements, the
simple
mindset,
ones.
the simple ones, the mindset that actually talks about consciousness. I think this is the year that is going to make a change, and we are super excited about it, because what we have done internally is to make a clean fashion happen. We have built systems which can help us spot the trends on time. We have built supply chains which can react to demand in real time. So net, our consumers are going to get the latest and greatest from the world of fashion without leaving the waste behind. And they don't have to pay the price for the excess inventory or the inefficiencies that a fashion company does, or the planet has to pay the price for our inconvenience or with our obsession for new.
Amar, truly inspiring what you have said, and it's absolutely something which serves not only a particular demographic, it serves a larger purpose, is what I gather from our conversation. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us. Wishing you all the best. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.